Hello guys. Hi, I am Sasi Kumar. Hello guys, I am Sasi Kumar and this is day 45 of improving my communication skills, and today we are going to do something crazy. As where is my diary? Sorry. Oh, it's good. I hope you know this diary. This is from Google Cloud. Okay, so from not today, but we are going to explain from next day what we are going to do and what we are not going to do from next lab session. From next time, we are not going to read books online. Means in lab session, I will read these books side by side. Whenever I have time in day, I will cover uh, complete this book in 20 days. Okay, 20 days I will complete this, but in side by side I'm going to start some topics that improve my GD and real life communication skills. Just like I have planned 30 topics, means each day one topics, uh, each day one topics for GD practice. So first things that I was focus on first. I will focus on civil engineering part. That's because that is used to us, and that will help me in future. So that's why I'm going to prepare the some topics that related to civil engineering as well as other factors as well, just because some evergreen topics that I generally ask in anywhere and at every GD session. So that's also I will prepare that. So I have written seven topics. Just I have all in mobile. First is sustainable construction practice, in which we are going to talk about energy efficiency, low carbon materials, example IGBC lead certified building. Okay, then green building, waste management in construction, a smart city, India progress, water resource management, urban heat island, climate resilience infrastructure, and other topics. I will definitely I will do all those things. And what we are going to do first, suppose tomorrow our topic is sustainable construction practice. So first things I will do some research on that. I will search on ChatGPT and other platforms, and as well as I will review some literatures and some research paper as well as, so that I can get some fact and some numbers data, because whenever we give some data and numbers to that's impact more. So that's why I am going to search, means deep search, means I will give one day for one topics, no extra things. Someday maybe due to some reason I was not able to do that those things, definitely I will read book. But if any case, just because I'm in three clubs in society. That's why that can be some reasons, but I will try my best to follow this rule. For every 30 means every day one topics. Sustainable construction practice is my first topics that we are going to do as a GD. Yes. First, what? First, I will do research on that. I will read all those papers. I will give 20 to 30 minutes. Then I will write one panel, points and so all those things. I have to speak those points in a right manner. Means first I have to introduce, then pros, then cons, then conclusion, then some facts that I can speak while everyone giving their points. So I will focus on all those things. So means first I will do research and I will write in rough copy, rough pages. Then I will write on this diary. I will write one or two page. Maybe it will take 2 pages. It's fine. I will write 2 pages, 2 pages for one topic, so that I can review in future. So that I have to note. I haven't so that I have not to do uh, research again on the same topics. So that will help me to get some knowledge on that. So definitely I will do sustainable and green engineering. Then I have some machine learning and all. Then just like evergreen uh, uh, means anything that can be just review 30 topics. Wait a second. First week is going to foundation, sustainable and green engineering. Then we are move towards modern construction technology, in which we will focus on building information modeling, 3D printing in constructions, drone technology in surveying, automation and robotic in construction, digital twin technology, a smart material in civil engineering, IoT in a smart infrastructure. Then in week 3, we are going to focus on. Hi Ankit Kumar. Then we will move towards infrastructure policy economy, in which we will focus on infrastructure and economic growth, public-private partnership (PPP), trip, affordable housing in India, urban transport system, highway development, and Bharat Mala project, the role of civil engineers in national building. Then the last topic will be infrastructure financing challenge. Then week 4, personal devel- personal development and the industry outlook, like ethics in engineering, engineers and communication skills, entrepreneurship for civil engineering, leadership versus management. Are Indian engineers job ready? The future of civil engineering in the age of AI, women in civil engineering, work-life balance in construction job, your vision as a civil engineer. That's the 30 topics we are going to cover, and some bonus resources that's given by ChatGPT, like the Civil Guruji, TEDx Engineer, Naptel Soft Skills, a website like ET Infra Construction World, India Smart Cities. I will check out all those things to do some research. As first I have to do research on that topics. I will do same things in class, everything's in class. Then I will come back and once panel miss I will first I will miss 2 minute videos. I will just continuously without seeing the chat GPT and anything. I will speak 2 minutes on that on those topics. Then I will rectify that's the problems where I have fumble and where I have stopped. Then I will again I will try to speak without seeing and without fumbling. Then we will do some extra things that we can do with chat GPT as well. So that's the things we are going to do from next day. So this is the whole plan for tomorrow. And today we are going to continue our book, The Art of Explanation, as we have covered, means we are covering introduction part, and I have already started the reading, the centrality of explanation, in which I have covered one page. Okay. This question is very close to my heart. Around 2010, the same time ProPublica and J. Rossens were doing their work on explanation, I began to shift from radio presenting to TV, and I started to present a lot of classic half-hour TV news bulletins. You will be familiar with the format: headlines, pre-made reports, live two ways with correspondent, the most interesting picture of the day, occasionally an interview, and so on. It's a format that's found huge success for decades and remain the dominant way that TV news is present. And and as I sat in the studio learning this new medium, it was impossible not to notice the difference between the news I could get through my phone and the news I was giving to the viewers. On my phone, I could move easily between a okay, vast array of source and tabs of content. Let's imagine a bomb had gone off in a city. I could read a tweet from an eyewitness, watch some local TV coverage on YouTube, check a local map, read an article on existing tension in the city, look at a social media feed of a still from a photographer, check live video feeds, check live video feeds from news agency, follow a reporter from a rival network positions by the police police cardon, and read reactions from the local authorities. That list isn't even existed. I could also move between those sources of information as I choose. This type of real-time multi-source collations and consum- consumption, a news focus from a browsing, if you like, was rapidly becoming central to how many of us followed the news via our phones and computers. Sitting in the TV studio, it would be possible in time to include all those sources in our reports. In that moment, though it would be very hard. TV is friendlessly complicated to produce, and our production system meant getting this array of information to the viewer rapidly was all but impossible. This practical consideration meant there was a limit to what we could include immediately. As such, there was a risk that a viewer faced with the choice of watching me or looking at their phone might to do might do the latter and switch me off. Thank you, Ankit Kumar. I don't know who. Okay. Thank you, Ankit Kumar. This seemed both a problem and an opportunity. The problem is clear. If someone can get better information from their phone, oh, Ankit. Actually, one of my friend in college, that's also named Ankit. He always been stoned. Ah, I know. Uh, okay, I have to complete this. The problem is clear. If someone can get better information from their phone, they might not turn to me or my colleagues. The opportunity was that increasingly, in the words of one former editor, we are making news for people who already know the news. That a bomb has gone up somewhere in is a fact that rapidly becomes pervasive. From news site to social media to WhatsApp and messenger groups. People are not turning on the television to be told that something had happened. They were turning it on for detail, context, live picture, curation, and analysis. Perhaps we could change how we offer that. I pondered as I learned the TV ropes. In the coming months, I started to work up an idea for a TV bulletins that could include any piece of information we felt add value, regardless of its source or form. It wouldn't mean we had used every piece of useful information. That would make for a very long and ineffective show. But now we had have the option, and we had also be able to do it at a speed. Most of you will be Most of you will have used lab pages at some times or another. News sites run them on big or breaking storage, other for football matches, and so on. They often have one person at the helm who posts update and information from a range of sources. They include whatever they think will help you understand what's happening. But simply, my idea back in the early 2010 was for a broadcast version of live page with me, the presenter playing the role of the live page host. I loved the idea constructing a story or an issue in front of the viewer and saying to them, let's start with this. But to understand that, you also need to know this and once again, let's start with this. But to understand that, you also need to know this and this. And to understand those things, bear this in mind too. I would build the story in front of them and takes them through its step by step until by the end they had the full picture. That was the theory anyway. The BBC went for it. Called it outside source, and outside source is the technical name we use for a video or audio feed coming into the newsroom. It was also a note to the fact we had used information from any source, BBC or otherwise. The brilliant BBC designers, directors, and engineers then built us a touch screen that allowed us to pull in any type of content on a story. We were now in a position where we could include anything we liked. This, I felt, gave us a much better chance of delivering high impact explanation in live TV environment. When we launched, the touch screen raised a few eyebrows, and with a certain predictability, the tweet suggested it was a gimmick dully arrived. I got it. TV has a long history of using technology it can, rather than for any great purpose. The tweet out quickly because whether you like the show or not, it was clear the screen wasn't the gimmick. It was letting me explain a stories in different way. The screen's now gone replaced by a new set of graphics that offers us option but look better on a mobile phone. But the idea behind it remains. Explain is about distilling and sharing effectively all the essential information on a given subject. That idea still underpins all the TV news I present and how I communicate in many areas well beyond the news. If I take a step back, I can also see how explanation was not only central to the idea of outside source, it was also central to it happening in the first place. Before I could worry about whether it had been a successfully format, I needed to make the case to my bosses at the BBC that this type of explanation was worth investing in. I was confident it was a good idea, but having a good idea alone isn't enough. Just as with a news story, this is about both what you have to say and how you say it. It's fair to say that my first pitch was not my best, not indeed, where other that followed. But over several years, I thought about what was working and in particular, what wasn't. I honed I found how I made the case. I thought carefully about how I described the idea, how I addressed the questions and concerns, and why I thought it had a chance of success. Not just that, I also thought about where and how I made that case. Sometimes, sometimes this was best done in written form. Sometimes in an informal conversation. Sometimes with a more formal presentation. This didn't graduate. No, sorry. This didn't guarantee that the BBC would say yes, but by 2013 it did. My experience of getting outside source commissioned taught me a lot about the power of explanation in promoting an idea or an ambition. In 2016, I started something that would would show me this on a far greater scale. Okay, just a small part. Some example is there. Example: the 50-50 project is an initiative that works to increase the diversity of contributors in media content. It began lab on outside source before spreading across BBC News, then across almost all BBC content before expanding still further into organization in over 30 countries. Initially, 50-50 was focused on increasing the number of female contributors in the BBC journalism. Back then, I felt that we were stuck in a constant state of tapping, trying, representing women equally in our journalism had long been accepted as a desirable and important goal, but we had perhaps also accepted that it wasn't possible. The very real obstacle to achieving equal representation had morphed into reason for not being able to get there. I wanted to see if we could think of equal representation as non negotiable, something we expected for ourselves. Just as we did with impartially high production value or hitting deadlines. My hope was that if we could prove that achieving a level of 50% female contributors was possible on news program like Outside Source, perhaps that could help encourage others to take part. And I was just see how small it has written. This set and this set. That's the difference between text. Okay. I very much begin with the assumptions that I wouldn't succeed with this. Not because I didn't think it was possible to reach 50% female contributors, nor because I didn't think people cared. Need, Needless to say, many others before me had done brilliant work in this area. But because I wasn't confident that I had been able to persuade very busy teams to take on a new way of approaching this. And this was all about persuasions. I am presenter, and while we are certainly not shrinking violets, presenters are not managers or editors, and so cannot tell anyone what to do, nor should be able to do. Okay, just as with pitching outside source, this would come down to how well I could make the case. 50-50 uses a simple system of self-monitoring with the help of the show's lead producer, Jonathan Arswamli and Rebecca Valley. We successfully trialed it on outside source. I know needed to see if I could get other involved. First and from first and foremost, I had to explain to them what that meant in practice. I worked and worked at making both the systems and explanation of it as simple and as credible as possible. I also made a list of every question that I thought I had get asked and wrote down my answer to. They included: do we have to do it? No. Can we stop if you don't like it? Yes. Is it a quota? No. How long does it take? Under 5 minutes a day. Other question required more detailed answer. Does the audience care? What do we have to do each day? Why are you doing this? Several times, several times I sought advice to make sure my answer added up, and if they didn't, I altered them. Only when I was happy with my answers did I start talking to colleagues, and when I did, those conversations went well. And slowly but surely, 50-50 start to grow. Talk by talk, meeting by meeting, I got myself to the point where I don't think I could have been clearer at explaining what I was doing and why I was doing it. I also learned I had to adjust my words depending on who I was talking to. Understandably, different teams and different managers would have different questions and concerns. None of this preparation meant people would say yes, and some didn't. But once more, I was giving an idea it is best chance. This is a power of explanation. Without the time I spent thinking on how to explain my idea, I don't think either outside source or 50-50 would have got or 50-50 would have got off the ground. I don't think my explainer videos would have happened either. We only started making them after I spent several months in 2019 thinking through not just what they could be, but how I could make the case from them too. Indeed, these two challenges are intertwined. The needed the needed to parachute other of the idea help me to improve the idea. Explanation is relevant whatever you are making the case for. It it's it not it not only improves how you promote an idea, a request for a point of view. It will also improve the very things you promoting as well. In turn, if what you are promoting and how you are promoting it both improve, the chance of a desirable outcomes increase. That's good news. If, like me, you are an individual trying to make the case to an organization, it's also good news. If you are a leader making a case to a staff, as the academic and business strategist Professor Lucky Quinn puts it, less clarity means less buying. Or to turn that round, explain yourself with clarity and clicks as much as more likely to be pursued. Quality explanation can help with all this and much more. It can be the difference between an idea becoming something real and well staying an idea, between a suggestions being persuasive or not, between someone finding what you are saying helpful or not, between someone being well informed you by you or not. It's a central to how we communicate. The answer all the answer all around us. There are many ways to explain something, and some will work much better for you. Okay, wait. 10 minutes with pen. There are many ways to explain something to something, and some will work much better for you than others. The good news is that while we are surrounded by examples of poor explanation, we will also encounter many people who are getting it right. As we wrestle with how we can all do this better, turn our it turned out some of the best lessons we can learn about communication are all around us. I have been avidly collecting them for years. In 2003, I joined the BBC World Service. Back then, it was still in its home of many years. Bush horses, Bush Horse in London, situated at the top of the curve of Aldic plant of broad tree-lined pavement and dominating its surrounded. We The building was very much part of the World Service identifier, as if to show its intention to broadcast far and wide. Its towering entrance stays all the way up an avenue opposite. When you arrive, you walk between two enormous columns. In, Inscribed above them are the words to the friendship and English-speaking peoples. Set yourself up like this, and you need to back it up. And the World Service did and does. I joined as a producer, but one day in late 2004, my editor walked over, said a presenter had missed their train and asked if I would fill in. 2200 2003 hours GMT BBC World Service. This is the world time. Those were my first words, grand in their own way and terrifying too. From there, the hard work started, explaining George W. Bush's second terms as a president, the death of Yasser Arafat, the end of Tony Blair's term as a prime minister, the war in Iraq, the 2005 earthquake in Pakistan. There were hundreds of stories to be reported to people who may have known lot about them but equally may not have known much and were eager to know more. And all the while you knew you needed to keep people listening to. You may be able to explain the finer points of Iran US tensions under Presidents Ahmadinejad and Bush, but you can do it in way that is both accurate and take people with you. I started to study the minute. Okay. I started to study minute of communicating and broadcasting. It turned out a lot of what I needed to know was right in front of me. I could see and hear how I was explaining and communicating well, listening to the listening to the radio sometimes. I could tell what the presenter had done. Other times I could tell it worked but wasn't sure where. In those cases, if they were at the best, sorry, if they were at the BBC, I could ask. I began capturing everything I could. If a turn of perhaps a sentence structure or type of delivery had worked, I had noted it down and tried to use it myself. This compliment advice I had been given by Julian Worrychicker, a BBC presenter. I had listened to religiously, religiously. Okay, well, before I had ever imagined I had become one myself, feeling all at sea before presenting my first show on Five Live Julian and kindly responded to an email asking for help. Keep listening back, he told me. I still do, by chance or intent. We all do things that communicate well and things that I definitely don't. In the case of radio and TV, we have the luxury of actually being able to go and listen or watch back. In regular life, we cannot do that. but we can still take time to consider how something has gone. If you don't consequently think about what's working and what isn't, it's far harder to do it better next time. Those early days as a representative show me constantly bothering colleagues for advice, and I remain grateful to them. I become and remain a magpie, looking far and wide for techniques and perspective that can help me to be better at explanation, not only from news. I hasted to aid music, entertainment, comedy, business, and academia. All offered inspiration, where whenever I saw people giving their communication clarity and impact, I had look at what they are doing and make a note. If it worked for me, I had added it into the systems that I had started at university, as I would with things that I thought I had done well myself. My passion for this was intensely rooted in a simple fact for news broadcaster. If you want to give your work the best chance of being consumed and of being helpful, you need to be clear on what you are saying, and you need people to be listening or watching. If they turn off, it doesn't matter what you are saying. No, no, of course I understand that you will not will not be on the TV or radio, but the same consideration are in play for all of us in everyday life. How do we keep people turned into what we are saying? And while they sorry, and while they are turned tuned, and while they are tuned in, how do you make sure what you say is impactful and useful? This is the nub of it. It's the reason of matters so much to me. If someone's not listening to you or if they are not taking in what you would like to them to hear, it's ris- it is reasonable to ask why are we spending time and energy telling them what is purpose of communicating if you are not giving ourselves the best chance of being heard and understood. What started as something driven by as a desire to explain the news has morphed into something more profound, a mission to understand how to effectively explain. It's a mission that applies to subject I know immediately and subjects I knew nothing of 24 hours ago. I should warn you sometimes the former can be harder than the the later. My MACP approach to improving how I explain myself has meant a whole range of people, moments, issues, and events have become attached in my mind to techniques and process that I use. As you will see in this book, I am always on the lookout for inspiration and will take it wherever I find it. My hope is that reading this book will inspire you to the same. Okay, that's the introduction part that's led and writer has given to us. And in this parts, I have seen writer get inspiration from all around the surroundings that writer has faces in their lab. So same things I have do in our lab. I have inspired from many things I have seen in our lab, day to day labs. No matter that I have know to that person or I don't know that, no matter. Just if any parts that person has given, and if that is helpful for me and that makes me, yeah, this is powerful points and that's impactful points that I can apply in our labs, that I get from that. So same things writer has done in their BBC journey, means reporter journey. Means writer has told this how to use this book, so that I will do in next day. Then we are going to read one topics every day. Okay, so okay guys. Oh, I'm going to sleep just because I have to wake up at 6 a.m. at least, so that I have to follow Winter Art Challenge effectively. Thank you guys. Thank you, Ankit, one of my childhood friend. I have posted one of stories on Instagram. I hope everyone of my friend has seen this. I will try to post on his YouTube as well. Okay. Thank you. Thank you guys. Bye bye. Good night.